Hey folks, welcome back. This is Heroic Sikran, Captain of the Sureki. Now, we're going to do this slightly different. We're going to split through this and try and get this done in a 5-minute video, so it's a little bit more condensed and not as long as the Heroic Reshnan. Let me know your thoughts below. So, starting with the tank mechanic, Captain's Flourish. It composes of two different abilities that you need to be mindful of: Expose and Phase Lunge. Again, it's nothing that you're really going to see in terms of animation, but it is a cast that I can show you and will be on loop above. Now, Expose does physical damage, but increases the physical damage you take by 200% for 12 seconds, and this will be cast twice. It's then led up with an ability called Phase Lunge, which does a component of physical and shadow damage, which means you can mitigate it with things like AMS or Spell Reflect and things like that. But it does apply a 30-second debuff that further increases the damage you take from Phase Lunge. So tanks, you are going to be taunting after 2 exposes, taking Phase Lunge as a hit, and then just before you take the next Phase Lunge, you'll be hit by 2 exposes. So do be mindful, it is going to hurt. So moving on to mechanics for the rest of the raid. One of the key features of Sikran is an ability called Cosmic Simulacrum, which, when his blades do damage, they will leave a shadowy apparition, and you kind of have to manage this as the fight goes on. When the simulacrums are detonated, it does do some damage to the raid and puts a small dot on people, and when he reaches 100 energy, he will detonate any simulacrums that are still alive, essentially. So I'll show you a quick image of what one of those look like, and then we'll move on to the next bit as well. Just leaving the ability to loop, the red arrow that you can see just to the image or the little video loop next to me is Phase Blades. Sikran will jump to these targets. Now, when he lunges to the targets and hits them, this is what leaves the simulacrum behind. Now, what this means is you don't want extra people being in those arrows, because that means more simulacrums will be spawned, more damage. So if you're targeted, make sure you're not in the raid. As you can see in this video, there is someone there, which means the simulacrum does end up being in the room or being in the wrong spot. Next on the ability chopping block is Rain of Arrows. Sikran will fire a volley of arrows into the air. There will be pools on the ground, so you will see that you need to stand out of them. Do be mindful, because they do impact with a slight range around them. It is a 3-yard range. At first in the fight, this doesn't seem problematic, but as you'll see watching the right-hand side of this video, as the fight progresses, you have less and less space to move, so this becomes more of a nuanced mechanic as you get closer to the kill. Just be mindful. On to Decimate then. Decimate is how you are going to manage the simulacrums, because Sikran will smash his polearm into the ground, causing cosmic copies of his polearm to erupt in a line towards his targets. It does travel through targets, so make sure you're not stood in front or behind anyone, and it will detonate the simulacrums. Now, I say this is how you want to manage them. If you don't manage the simulacrums appropriately, they will cause enough damage to wipe the raid by the pulsing AoE damage that they do. So this is how you want to control it and how you're going to detonate them. Quickly looping back to Shattering Sweep, I know I did discuss it at the start of the video for the rest of the raid to worry about, but it is a AoE physical ability that Sikran will do. Just get out of it, and obviously because you've managed the cosmic simulacrums up until this point, there shouldn't be any to detonate, but do be mindful if there is like 1 or 2 still around, that there will be some damage coming out on top of this as well. So it's physical damage, just be mindful not to get slapped by it. The detonation damage though is shadow, so if everyone gets out, pops a defensive, and then takes the shadow hit, you'll be alright. And that brings us to the end of the mechanics. So as you can see by watching the video, you're going to essentially be tanking the boss in the middle of the room. So tanks, you're fairly static here. Death Knights rejoice. You don't have to worry too much. He will occasionally leap away from you, but don't worry about that. As for the rest of the raid, you will be moving around in a clockwise or anti-clockwise, however your guild wants to do it. But essentially, you will be moving around the room, allowing for things to be left, and you'll basically end up fighting the boss in a final wedge as you kill it. So do be mindful of Rain of Arrows, as I said. That will become more prevalent as the fight goes on. But all in all, really good fight. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.